Yo, what's up, what's up? It's your boy Lyrics.
That's for the beat.
Lyrics 559. Let's go. Hope everybody's having a great one today. Man, I am. Every day's a good day. Like I said, even if it is bad, I'm still trying to count it all joy. So today, we're going to have a special guest, and we're just going to go right into it. I like her grind. I like what she's doing. I like what she's about. How she just doing the right thing. And now she's just grinding, selling merch. 10 toes down. Lady Purpz, what's up?
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Blessed, thank you.
Good. I'm glad I could get you on.
Yes.
I heard your story that's been floating around, and so I felt like it was a need to get you to be on the podcast and share your story. Can you let people know about who you are and what you do?
Yes, thank you. Actually, I'm a former inmate, drug addict. I've recovered. So I have 7 years clean. I'll have about 2 years out of prison. I shared my story on TikTok, and from there, I kind of started selling merch, went back to school, opened up a little eyebrow business, and just been moving forward ever since, actually.
Oh, dang, that's what's up, man. How long ago was this? Like when you started getting in trouble and stuff? But wait a minute, but before that, where you from? You didn't mention that yet. You're from where?
No.
Hmm?
I'm originally from Lawndale, California, out there by the beach, but I'm out here in Arizona now.
Oh, you're in Arizona. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. And I think I don't know if we started following each other through Kenny, right? Thunderbird?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you guys like good friends or what?
No, actually, when he actually hit me up not too long ago, and I actually read his book. He sent me his book, and I read it, and I enjoyed his story because I kind of can relate to him in a lot of ways. So I was trying to help him get his book out there on Amazon and stuff like that. And from there, we started talking, and then I found out he was from the same area where I caught all my cases in Bakersfield, and then he actually knows one of my baby daddies, so they were from the same neighborhood. So from there, we ended up clicking up, and I told him, I like what he was doing, and I like how he was pushing out positive, and I was trying to help him get his book on Amazon.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you know what? I told him the same thing, too, because I have a children's book, which I wrote and illustrated, and I was trying to tell him you could go through KDP, right? Is that where you went through?
Yes, well, I had connected him with a friend, so I was like the third party in getting him on Amazon. So I connected him with her. That way they could get it going.
Oh, okay. So it was your friend that did a book, and then you connected them. Oh, okay. That's cool. Yeah, man.
Yes, I enjoyed his story. He has a really good story.
Yeah, no, that's what I hear. You know what? I think he sent it to me. He sent me a lot of stuff, and I got to go back and see if one of them was. I think he did send me something. It was like
he sent it to me in an email. So it's actually an email, like all text, but It's really good. It's really good.
Okay, dang. Okay, I'll check it out. I heard it was like a novel too. It was pretty long.
There's a lot to it. But that's how we started talking, and I was just super proud of him for coming out and trying to get that going.
Yeah, that's a big step, man.
It
is you just got to do it.
Yeah, you do. And he's been doing it, he's been pushing it out there as much as he can by himself, and then he's getting these other people to help push it out. And so I'm happy that everything's going good for him right now.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I know I've been seeing him around. That's where did I fall? Hoodstocks. That's I was listening to Hoodstocks, and then that's kind of how like I found him, and then just his story and everything. I was like, okay, cool, and that's dope. That's dope.
Yeah,
I gotta get him on.
That's exactly where I seen the first part of his story, and then he had messaged me on Instagram, and then from there we started chopping it up, and we know a lot of the same people. So since we were from the same neck of the woods, I figured I'd reach out and try to help him on that aspect.
That's good. Okay, man. Well, let's talk about you. Like, from what I understand, you were locked up, right? Like, you were in the pen, and how did that all happen? Like, what got you into like being a trouble girl?
You know what? I started off really late. I really didn't start getting in trouble till maybe I was about almost 30. I actually
Wow.
was married at a really young age, and then I got a divorce. And when I got a divorce, I left him and I went to Bakersfield. And I took my kids with me. And from there, I was struggling, and I ended up getting addicted to meth. And then I started selling it. And then from there, I lost my kids, and just everything started falling apart. And I started just basically hustling. My first case was actually a sales case. And then from there, it just started I was just getting worse and worse and worse from there.
Wow.
Yeah,
How,
so that's how I started. I started really, really late. My first term was a sales case. Yeah.
wow, in your 30s. So like before that, you were a good girl.
I wasn't good, but I was like, I had ran a little muck when I was younger, and then I met somebody, and I settled
Okay.
down, had kids, got married, and then we ended up getting divorced. And from there, I thought I could handle everything, and I guess I just after that, like since I was tied down so young,
Yeah.
when I finally had that little bit of freedom, I kind of like went wild and I dropped the ball. And I ended up on drugs. And then from there, I lost my kids. I didn't really lose them to the system. So thank God for that. My family came and got them. And my grandma was out in Bakersfield. I went and I lived with her. She eventually told me like I had to get my own place. I got my own place, and I was having a hard time affording it. So I started selling dope. And that invited a lot of the bad crowd into my house. And from there, it just got worse.
Wow. So then what happened after that? How did things get worse for you?
My house got hit. I ended up losing a house. It was just, then I ended up on the streets. It's just everything spiraled from my addiction and then from selling. And then it's crazy because once you get caught up out there in Bakersfield and the cops know you, it's like they're constantly messing with you. And that's what was happening to me. So I was just catching case after case. And to be honest, like, I was in jail more than I was really out in the street. So every time I would get out, I would go back to the same stuff, and I would get caught up right away. Most of my cases, I had informants on me.
Yeah.
And then it was never ending. I would go out, do the same thing because I needed a place to stay. I needed money. So I'd get back out, get back on, and start it all over again, and just kept getting hit until I think it was I ended up catching a case with my baby daddy, the one that knows Kenny. And we were looking at a lot of time, and I was pregnant. And that kind of like, it was an eye opener for me
Yeah.
because I thought I was going to prison for a very long time. And I thought I was going to have my baby in prison. My grandma ended up passing away while I was in jail, in the county jail.
Oh, wow.
So she was all I had out there. So I knew when I got out, I had nowhere to go. So it was basically, I was going to go back to the same situation.
Yeah. Wow.
So from there, it was just, it was like never ending. And like I said, that was a big eye opener when I was pregnant. And I thought that I made a promise that I was going to change my life and I wasn't going to get high no more and all that if I ever got out. And I ended up getting out on my son's birthday, and I stood clean for a while. And mind you, I was pregnant, and I stood clean for a little bit. I started getting high again. I started selling again, and bam, caught another case. After I caught a case, they dropped it, and then I ended up going back in again.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was really crazy out there.
So who are you telling? Who were you telling that to when you said that you're never gonna, do drugs? I'm never gonna do that. Were you like talking to God? Were you got some people that you were just? It was God.
No, I was praying to God because I was in there with my baby daddy, and we were on a really, really big case. And it was all over the news, and
Wow.
I was pregnant, and I was just thinking that like I was never going to get out again. So I was praying to God. I fasted. I was like, you know what, if you give me opportunity to touch pavement again, like I will, I won't do drugs anymore and everything. And I kept that promise for a while.
Yeah.
I actually got out, and when I got out, I kept that promise. And then things started getting hard for me. Like I said, my grandma passed away, so I was in and out of people's houses, and I was usually paying them to stay there because they weren't my family, nothing's for free. So, and then a lot of them, these people were getting high, so I would get dope to get them, and then I just got right back in the scene being pregnant.
Like you just kind of like, forgot about it. Drugs is
Yeah.
right here. I'm just gonna do it again, and
Yeah.
maybe I could get away with it, knowing that God sees
Yeah.
everything, right? And
Exactly. And then what's crazy, the way I seen it was
yeah,
as fast as he gave me that freedom, he took it right back as soon as I started messing up, because I was out for 8 months.
yeah,
I think I was 8 months, and I ended up no, I'm lying. Yeah, because no, it was about 8 months, 7, 8 months, and I ended up having the baby. So I was able to have my baby out there. I had the baby, and then I started even after I had the baby. I started going harder, and I started selling more drugs, and I was going bigger. I was selling heroin and crystal, and then I got into the whole gun thing because I had a hookup for guns. So I started selling guns. I started selling ammo,
Wow.
and then from there, I ended up getting hit, and I got raided, and I had the baby with me. She was only 2 months old at that time. And as fast as he gave me that freedom, he took it right back because I didn't keep my promises. That's the way I seen it.
Somebody had an eye on you, right? And they just kind of told the
Yes,
feds or something, or.
yes. I actually had an informant. There was an informant, and they had been watching me for
Mm,
10 days before they hit that house. And when they hit that house, I honestly think, well, I know they really didn't want me. They wanted who I was going through. So that was, they kept questioning me and they kept trying to get me to drop the ball and all that. And, you know, it was, they didn't even really want me. They
yeah.
wanted who I was going through. But I
Wow.
had an informant. I kind of, it was weird because I felt like well, I know I was set up because that day that day that I got hit, I went to go buy a Lexus cash, and the dude that I got it from was a friend of a friend, and this guy was pretty high up there. So I was thinking, okay, I didn't know him personally like that, but I figured I could trust him because he fucked with people who were up there.
Yeah.
So after I bought the Lexus, he asked me if he could borrow a gun, and I was like, sure, let me go get it or whatever. And he had called me when he was outside of my place, and he was like, can you bring it out? And as soon as I went to go walk to bring it out, they hit my house on my way out while I had the gun.
Wow.
So it was just, it was a complete setup. Everything was set up, and that kind of was like another like an eye opener once again. So after that, I was like, man, I got to start. I went to prison. I was like, I gotta change my ways. Like, there's no way I gotta. The first time I got out, then this time I'm gonna go do time, get out. Then what about the next time? Like,
Yeah.
what about if they try to wash
It
me
was
up?
the money, or was it the addiction, or just? I mean, addiction could be. I mean, you're addicted to money and the drugs,
Yes,
right? It was
yes,
just
I
everything.
was. I was addicted to the money, the drugs, the hustle. I actually got pretty bad out there because I went from smoking the meth to shooting up meth. So that made me even worse. It kind of, when I was out there, when I was shooting up, it was like I had no heart, I had no feeling, and I had no care, you
Mm,
know? And I
yeah.
really wasn't seeing clearly. I was just hustling every day just to get by, to keep a roof over my head, to keep a car. I had the baby at that time, so I was making sure she was good.
Yeah.
And she was everywhere with me. And that's kind of the messed up part too. She was only 2 months old, but she was right there by my side while I was doing all this.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's really sad. But I'm
yeah.
glad that you're sober. You how many kids you have?
I have 3 kids. I have two with my ex-husband, and then I have the little baby, the one that I had caught the case with. She's now 6.
Wow.
Yeah.
You have three kids, man,
Yes.
and then they're
Yes.
still back in your life.
Well, actually, my 2 oldest, when I went to Bakersfield and my family had them, and I ended up going to jail, my grandma sent them with their dad. So their dad has custody of them. And they really didn't want
Um,
nothing to do with me while I was out there in the streets. And I kind of cut off all my family. So I was out there in Bakersfield with no family when my grandma passed away.
yeah.
And I was just out there living with people and on the streets doing drugs. And I cut all ties with all my family. So they knew I was out there, but nobody knew what I was doing or nothing. They just knew every time I went to jail or hit the news or something like that.
Right.
But so my oldest kids kind of didn't want anything to do with me until I paroled this time. And my son, he was actually the one who kind of had a grudge with me and didn't want nothing to do with me. And then he actually, like, I talked to him and we started seeing each other, and he kind of drew a little bit closer. So I have that with him. But
Yeah.
my oldest daughter, she, to this day, I haven't seen her yet. But
Wow.
I got good news because her stepsister called me the other day and was like, hey, she's going to be graduating in May. Do you want to go? So in May, it'll be my first time seeing my oldest daughter in years.
Wow. Like how many years?
I want to say maybe about 10.
Wow. 10
Yeah.
years you haven't seen your oldest daughter. She's about to graduate and you got an
Yes.
invitation to go see her.
Yes. And that's what I mean, how God works in mysterious ways. I think I had to change my mindset. And it's crazy because that ate
Yeah.
me up for a long time. And
Yes.
I used to use that as an excuse. So every time I
Yeah.
would go out there and get high, and I'd be like, well, forget it. My kids ain't a part of my life. I ain't got shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would always have an excuse to get high. And now these same excuses that I used to get high, I use them to stay clean. I have 7 years clean now. So I use
Congratulations.
them, thank you. I use them to stay clean, and it's paying off. You know what I mean? Like, it
Yeah.
really is. Like, it might not have happened overnight.
Right.
Like I said, it's been years. Even though I've been clean for 7 years. In the beginning, she still didn't want nothing to do with me, no matter how much clean time. So I kind of
Yeah.
basically had to show her, look, I'm here. I'm going to keep doing good, no matter if you talk to me or not. I'm always going to be here for you. I do reach out to her, no matter what.
Yeah.
I send her gifts for Christmas. I never stop trying,
Right.
and I just want her to see that, I'm not going back no more. That the last time was my last time.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. What are your plans when you go see her graduate? When she graduate, are you planning on just sitting back and just smiling, or are you planning on just running up and giving her a hug, or you're just gonna? I mean, do you have an idea? I bet you're nervous. I bet.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm nervous,
I'm
and I
nervous for
don't want
you.
to push myself on her, you know?
Right.
But
Right.
at that same token, I'm going to try to have a talk with her if I can, you know what I mean? I'm going to
Yeah.
try to ask her, if there could be a time where we could sit down and maybe have dinner and talk.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to let her know that I'm there for her, and I'm always going to be there for her no matter what. And whenever she's ready, I'm here. I'm not going to force myself on her because, like I said, I don't want to put that pressure on her. I
Right.
left her life for so many years and chose addiction over her. And now that I'm finally clean, it's wrong of me to say, hey, I want you back in my life
Right.
after all these years. You know what I mean? It's not fair. So she has every right to be upset with me. She has every right to be angry. You know what I mean? I expect that. It's okay. I'm okay with that. I have to be okay with that.
You know
But
that you're that's good because that's the first step. Like you should recognize, like, hey, like you got to be okay with this.
yes,
That's good. That's very good. No,
yes,
you're on a great track right now, on a right track. That's 7 years being sober. You're doing
yes.
good. You have your own merch now, right?
Yes,
Tell us about that.
so when I first got out, in May of 2022, somebody asked me to share my story on TikTok, and I was like, why? Like, I really, like, my story's like anybody else's, you know?
Yeah.
And then so I shared it, but I shared a little bit about it. With that, I got paid pretty decent from TikTok, and then from there, people were like, you should do merch, we'll buy your merch. And so actually, TikTok helped me get all my equipment and everything, and I started from there. I didn't know what I was doing. So
Yeah.
I had a few people reach out to me, and they explained to me how to do everything. And from there, I just been on the go.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's good. Is what are you what are we doing? T-shirts, cups, makeup.
Yeah, I did t-shirt. Yeah, I've done t-shirts, cups. I actually collaborated and did a makeup palette with a native out here in Arizona.
Nice.
After that, I started going to school, and I ended up getting a bigger house to where I was able to create a room in my house to do eyebrows because I went to school for permanent makeup. So now I'm tattooing eyebrows. So I have a room in my house for that. Like I said, in May, I'll have 2 years out, and this is my second business that I'm opening. I haven't worked a legit job. Like, this is paying all my bills. So it's been a
Wow.
blessing to be able to work from home. And then I get the baby, I get her on the weekends. So I spend time with her, and to be able to work from home is a beautiful thing. You know what I mean? And to be able to make my own hours and work at my time and all that stuff. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, no, it is. That's dope. That's dope because you went from the streets. You knew how to hustle then, and it's like, okay, I could use this, but in a positive way. I,
Exactly. And I think it was always in me. You know what I mean? I just applied it in the wrong way. When if I would have went positive, I probably would have been way further than I am now, you know?
yeah, I think for a lot of people too. I think there's a lot of people out there that are very talented,
Yes.
and it's like,
Yeah.
dude, like you're much better than that.
Yeah, it's very, very true. And I didn't see all that till later. And you know what's crazy is because when I went to prison too, I learned a lot of hustle. So the hustle's always been in me. When I went to prison my first time, my family, I didn't have nobody there for me. I didn't have anybody there for me to put money on my books. So I sat back and I watched. I learned how to draw. I learned how to tattoo. I learned how to braid hair. I learned how to thread eyebrows. Anything that made an income in there, I learned how to do it. And I did it. And I got better and better at it, and I was getting paid for it, and I was taking care of myself in prison. So
Wow.
the hustle has always been in me. It's just
Man.
I was applying it to the wrong areas. And now that I'm out and I see life different and I'm older now, like I feel like there's so much more I could get out of life. You know what I mean? By hustling like the way that I am. And it's all been turning out good for me. Like everything I've touched it's been working out. All my plans have been working out.
You telling me instead of going to college, you learn all that in prison? No,
Yeah.
hey guys, I'm just playing. Don't go to prison to learn all this
Yeah.
stuff.
Right? Yeah, you most definitely don't want to go get paid no sodas and honey buns.
Yeah, learn how to make a spread and all that.
Yeah. Yeah, but I learned a lot in there. I learned a lot in there, and most importantly, I had that little bit of time to sit there in prison and
Yeah.
gather myself and find myself as a woman and find out where I went wrong and just dig deep and learn for myself and my mistakes and all that. And being in prison in California, there's as much drugs out on the streets as there is in prison. They're there,
Wow.
and it's up to you if you want to get high. And because it's been offered to me while I was in there, but I made a choice to stay clean, and I stood clean ever since. As soon as I went to prison.
Wow.
Yeah,
Even in there, you said no.
yeah, yeah.
Isn't that
I made a
crazy?
choice just to keep going because I had a clear mind then. You know, I didn't have all the streets around me. These were other women that were incarcerated, but I seen ugly in there, and I seen people like I would run across women like, damn, you really need to be here. You know what I mean? Like this is
Yeah.
for you, girl. This is all you. I don't want
Yeah.
this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because there's probably people in there that are just like, man, like moping around, or they just want some time to pass, so they start doing drugs, and then
Yeah.
but you're like, no, I want more. I want something. This is what I love to do. I'm a hustler. Like I got to
Yes.
hustle in here. Like that's
Yes. I had
yeah,
I had a lot of goals. I had set out goals. Um, I had a lot of goals, a lot of plans when I got out. So when I went to prison, when I caught that case in California, me and my mom hadn't talked in 5 years, right? And so I had this 2-month-old baby that a bunch of friends had in Bakersfield, and my mom was in Arizona. And I had told my mom before I went upstate to prison, I told her, can you get the baby? And she was like, I'm old. She was like, what am I going to do with the newborn baby? Like, I'm going to have to
right.
get a babysitter. I just bought a house. I'm going to lose my house. She basically told me no. And so I had told her, well, check this out. If you don't get the baby and she goes to CPS, I'm just going to get out and I'm going to go be a fuck up. That's it.
Yeah,
I don't know what's going to happen to me. You probably will never see me again, and that's just going to be it. I said, but if you get the baby, I will go to Arizona. I will change my life. I'll stay clean, and I'll get my shit together.
right.
So 3 months later, my mom gets the baby, and I've kept my promise to her. So,
That's
and
beautiful.
you know what I mean? Like, she did that favor for me, and I owe her that.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's cool. Heck yeah. What prison
Yeah.
did you go to? Chowchilla?
I went to Chowchilla, then I did most of my time in CIW.
Chowchilla's like 15 minutes from me.
Is it?
Yeah, it's not far from
Hey,
me.
that prison is crazy, let me tell you.
Did you see Keisha Cole's mom there?
No, I didn't. I actually was in there with Gabriel Fernandez.
How really?
Sabrina Limon. Yeah, I was in there with her too. Yeah.
Oh wow! Like you seen her?
Yes. Sabrina Limon actually was in county with me, and then she was over there on C yard, and then Pearl Fernandez, I seen her on A yard.
You have any stories with?
Yes, so many stories. So the one with Pearl Fernandez, you know what's crazy is because we were on A yard when she got there. I think it was July of 2018 when she got there, and I didn't know her case because like I was out there on the streets, so I really wasn't watching the news. I didn't know what was going on out there on the streets. So
Yeah.
I remember being in the unit and I remember there was this girl named Morena. She was cool people. She was from LA. She was from White Fence actually, and she just kept saying, "There's this baby cases here, this baby case or whatever." She was like, "I'm gonna get her. And I didn't know what she was talking about. Like I really didn't pay no attention to it. Like,
So
I
wait,
didn't know
so
the
wait a
whole
minute.
story.
Like over there, you could watch the news in prison.
Yeah, they have TVs in the little day room or whatever that they have in there.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, dang.
I didn't know. We didn't know she was coming. She just ended up out there, and I guess I don't know how it got out on the yard, but it got word that she was there, and she was giving me the rundown about the girl. She was like, "You didn't know the baby case?" And I was like, "Nah, like I don't know what's going on, you know."
Right.
And she had said it. She had said it before. She was like, "I'm gonna get her. That way, nobody else has to get her." Because Morena was out there on the streets. She had a son, but I guess she was already like planning on maxing out her time or something like that. So she was just gonna get her for all the women that wanted to get her and couldn't get her, and they ended up getting her in the chow hall.
Whoa, what happened? What did they do?
Yeah. They caught her slipping in the chow hall. I don't even know why they threw her on a GPR, but they threw her on a GPR. She went to the chow hall and they got her in there. They threw hot, because we get these big old jugs of hot water for our coffee.
Yeah.
They threw hot water on her. They cut her up, and then they ended up moving her to like an ad seg, kind of like the whole type. And
Yeah.
after that, there was a lot of cops didn't like her in there.
Okay.
After that, there was one of the COs, I guess, turned their back and let out some girls that were in GP there, and they got her again in there.
What? And did
Yeah.
and did he get caught or the?
No. They got caught. They got time for it and everything.
Wow.
Morena, it was Morena and a few other girls, but Morena ended up going to the main yard that I did all my time on at CIW, and that's how she gave me the rundown about what happened after or whatever. She ended up maxing out, but she really didn't care because, like I said, she didn't really have anything to lose, you know?
That's scary, huh? Like when
Yeah,
people
it
are
was
like
a trip.
that.
It was a trip.
Yeah.
They shut down that whole prison when that happened, and they pulled out every single person individually to see if they knew anything or heard anything or anything. That part about it is when I paroled in May of 2022,
Yeah.
I actually was like, let me look up Morena. This is how I found out more news, because I was like, man, like, let me look at her, because I know she didn't have family helping her or anything, you know? So I was like, let me
Right.
look her up. So I went to go look her up, and she wasn't in prison. So I was like, okay, she must be out. Let me see if I can find her or whatever, you know? So I started Googling, looking to see if I could find her, and I found her obituary.
What?
Yeah, they ended up shooting her after she paroled. It was like I think 2 days before her birthday or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think it had to do with her gangbanging, because she gangbanged like kind of hard, you know?
Yeah.
But I
Well.
guess, yeah, I'm not sure exactly what it was, but I would assume it'd be something like that, or maybe just a fallout with somebody. It was crazy though.
Yeah. Oh wow. Man.
Yeah.
That is crazy. Dang, man. And what and Fernandez or the mom, where's she at now? Do you know?
Well, I heard she's now in GP. She's out of the hole. So what they do with these baby cases and cases that are big like that, they usually like put them away for a while where nobody has any contact with them, and they let time go by till everything dies down. And usually in a women's prison, like, a lot of people are trying to go home, so they won't fuck with them, you know?
Yeah.
So she's out in GP now. I heard she's got a girlfriend. I heard she's on B yard. She's having a normal program now. I'm sure there'll be a time where somebody will go in the yard that has nothing to lose, and will probably eventually get her again, you know?
Yeah.
But it's until that person comes along that they get got, because most of these women are trying to go home to their family and kids.
Yeah. Oh wow. That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
What a trip.
Yeah, it's crazy in there. That's why I said I started sharing a little bit about who I was in there with, because it's crazy to go in there and run across these people who have done these things, you know? I was in there with, when I went to prison in Arizona too, I was in there with Jodi Arias. I was on the same yard, on D yard with her in Lumley at Perryville. And to see her face to face and talk to her and stuff like that, it's like, damn, it's not every day you come across somebody who commits these types of crimes like that.
Wait a
you know
minute.
what I mean?
What was her story? What was her story?
Jodi Arias was the one who she murdered her boyfriend, and she like stabbed him so many times, took pictures of him, all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah. And she seemed like the most sweetest lady ever. Like, you would never even imagine her doing something. I've talked to her before. I've seen her every day, like her everyday movement on the yard. Like, you would never think, you know what I mean? Somebody would do something like that. That's crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy. Was she on that TV show Snap?
I don't know, but they did have a show. They had a cellmate stories or something like that on her when I was there. And I remember when they had that on the yard, she didn't come out of her cell. She didn't really like too many people knowing her story, but people used to point fingers. I didn't even know who she was until they pointed her out. She actually would be dressed up. And this is when COVID was out. So she was wearing pants, long sleeves, a hat, glasses, and a mask. So she was really, really covered up. But she worked in the library at Perryville. So when she was in the library, when you would check out your books, you would be face to face with her, and you could see her face and everything. She looked completely innocent. You would never ever think she would do something like that.
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy. That's a trip, man. We had some girl here in Fresno that some lady, she killed her husband and put her husband in a barrel of acid, and
Wow.
yeah, she went to prison and everything. My friend was locked up with her. I'm like, man, that's crazy
Yeah.
to talk to somebody or be in the same cell with somebody that crazy. Let's
Yeah, exactly. Like, you don't want to get on their bad side.
hell no.
They shouldn't even allow pencils. What are you talking shoot? I'd be scared. Yeah, but
Yeah.
it was a trip going to prison and being able to experience all these things and to be able to share my story and share the people that I like, talk about the people that I've seen on there, on the yards and stuff like that. It was crazy. It was a trip. It was an experience for real.
How hard is it to kick addiction, like especially heroin, man? Like once you do heroin, it's man, I
Yeah.
heard it's like it's really hard to get off. Like cigarettes, like I stopped smoking about a year and a half, man, and I started young. And I'm telling you,
Yeah.
it's just a bad addiction. I heard heroin is worse.
Yeah, heroin is worse. I think it's the kicking at the end. I mean, to me, it's all mindset. You could stop anything you really want to if you really want it. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
I don't think there's a program. I don't think there's anything that could help you because I've been to rehabs, I've been to NA, I've been to all that stuff, and just nothing worked for me until I was tired. I was done with the life. I was tired of the griminess that came with it. I was tired of the jail. I was tired of losing everything every time I went to jail. I was tired of not having my family. I was tired of searching, like being in relationships that were no good for me. I was tired of filling voids
Right.
that I knew only I could fill. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I knew that no drug, no man, no nothing could fill it but me healing, you know what I mean? And figuring out why I am the way that I am. For me, it was, I ain't gonna lie, prison helped me a lot.
Yeah.
Like once I went to prison, that was a kickstart to me getting clean.
Right.
You know, I had a choice. Do you really want to get high in here? Do you want to get high and look at the world? Like, no, not really. Be locked in my cell? No.
Right.
Like that wasn't me.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of helped me get clean. It made it a little bit more easy for me.
Yeah, because you have to be the one to do it. You have to say no. I don't want it no more. I'm
Yeah.
done. Somebody can't do it for you. They could talk you into like going to rehab but still, like you have to want to like say no. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done, man. I want to change my life, man. I'm done. I want to just give it all to God, or I just that's it. I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what it was for me. I had to realize that, like I said, I would find every excuse to get high. And then I realized, like, damn, every time you're happy, you want to go get high. You want to celebrate. Every time you're mad, you want to use that as an excuse to get high. Like all these same reasons that I was using to get high, I used them same reasons to stay clean. You know, I just
Yeah.
flipped it. I was like, okay, well, today's a good day, like another day down. You know what I mean? Like, let's keep
Yeah.
going. Like I just had to motivate myself and just stand firm and knew that every day isn't going to be a good day, but every day is going to pass. And then tomorrow's a new day.
Right.
So every single day you have a chance and a choice. You could either make the right decisions or the bad decisions, you know?
Right.
But
right.
I knew my bad decisions always ended me up in jail.
Yeah.
So I knew that side. So I was like, let me try something different. And I ain't gonna lie, when I came out to Arizona especially,
Yeah.
I was nervous. I was scared. I had a hard time finding work. And that's why kind of I got into the t-shirt thing. So I didn't have to look for employment because I am tatted. My face is tatted. Like I have this look. And I applied for Domino's right here in Arizona City, and they denied me because of my face tats. And they said it straight out, like the owner's seen you and they don't want, I was like, okay, cool,
But when you're
Like, I
on
don't need your job.
probation, don't they expect you to get a job? Like you have to get a job. You have to find work. Like
Yeah. Well, when I was in California, since I was waiting to transfer, they really didn't ask that for me. But when I got to Arizona and I caught that case and I got off and I was on parole here, I was attending so many classes. They really didn't ask me to look for work. It was just something that I wanted to do. I wanted to find work,
Good.
so I can have my own income and whatnot.
Yeah.
So that was something that I wanted to do for myself, but it was hard for me, especially here in Arizona. It's different. I know in California they have programs that pay for tattoo removal, and out here in Arizona they didn't have that.
Yeah. You don't want to do it?
I would have done it, but now I started fixing them, so now they're nice, and I put a lot of money into them.
Started investing in more. You're just
Yeah, so now I'm like, okay, now they're fixed, they look nice. I'm just gonna keep them.
Yeah. So you're okay with it. You're fine. You're good.
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine with them. Like I said, I'm working from home now, so that's a blessing. I don't have to really I don't really have to like dress myself up or put on a front for anybody or cover them with makeup, you know.
Yeah, congratulations, man. I'm
Thank
happy.
you.
I'm happy for you. I love your story. Ten toes
Thank you.
down. Is that
Yes.
what's 10 toes down? What does it mean to you?
Uh, to me, that's what I had to stand throughout my addiction, throughout prison, throughout life. Right now, it's just been me the whole way through my journey.
There you go. You got a website?
I don't have a website, but I'm on social media.
When
That's where
you
I promote everything.
so when you do the website, make sure you what you said right now. Make sure you add all that. Why?
Yes,
Why 10 toes down? People want to know what's your story and behind this
yes,
brand. You got to have a story behind the brand.
yes,
And
and that's my story. It's just I had to stand 10 toes down. I had to be firm through my whole journey in life. You know, from my addiction to my recovery to my prison to where I'm at today. I just can't. I can't fail.
because of that story, I want to wear it more. I want to get a shirt and just and sport that.
I
Because
got you.
yeah,
Yeah,
you're doing it for the right reasons, and it's not. Because I hear 10 toes down for other reasons, but I love your reason, and
yes,
I'll
and
support it. I'll support it for that.
that's thank you. I appreciate that. That's why I gave it that name. I was looking for a name, but I wanted something, and then I thought it was too long. The name. I was like, but man, this is me. This is where it's at. This is what I had to do my whole journey. You know what I mean? Even out there in the streets, even right now, and being a little small business owner, like I have to stand firm. I can't fail. I can't fail my kids. I can't fail my family. I've come too far. I just can't fail.
Yeah, and if it happens where you do fall, or just make sure you get back up, and then
Yes,
don't run
always.
to addiction. Just get back up and just know that it could be a test,
Yes,
and just know and just remember what God did for you, what He took you out
yes,
of, you know.
exactly.
Sometimes those things are gonna come, and you just have to say, look, okay, this is happening for a reason. People are going through it a lot worse than I am right now, and this is what I need to do
Exactly.
different. And just keep fighting the good fight. You're doing great. You're doing awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you. Like, what would you tell somebody who's listening? Maybe somebody who's maybe struggling, who's going through addiction. Maybe they're done, and they want to change their life. What advice would you give to somebody who's just trying to make it?
I would just say, like, don't quit. I mean, when I started getting right, um, like you said, I relapsed, a gang of times before I actually got it. I had to fall 100 times before I actually got it. Just don't give up. And when you're ready, you're ready. Don't be afraid to reach out to people as well, because sometimes you need that support.
Yeah,
Sometimes you need to be able to reach out and just have that one person that you could contact and just open up to, because like I said, we find these reasons to get high when we could use these same reasons to get clean.
mm,
Not every day is going to be a good day, and that's okay. Just be okay with it and just know that every day passes. And if I could do it, I know anybody could do it, because like I said, I was an IV meth user. I was out there in the streets. I was in and out of prison. I lost my kids. Now every day, the way I see it is, all of my life had to fall apart for it to fall back together.
wow,
And this time it's even better. You know what I mean? Like, it fell back to better, and everything's falling into place now the way it should be.
that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're familiar with Danny Trejo's story.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
his story is impactful. Like it, I just love everything about Danny and what he's doing. I
Yes.
like that quote. He's like, I'd rather aim for the moon and miss than aim for the gutter and make it.
That part.
Yeah,
Yes.
and the fact that he was mentoring somebody who they called him up and then said, and I think he was like, hey, I'm on a movie set. I need you to come and help me because there's all these drugs right here in front of me. And that's how
Wow.
he goes over there and checks up on him. And when he went, he saw the director that he knew from the past, and they say, "Hey, Danny, man, you still boxing?" And he's like, "Nah, man, I'm not. Hey, but yeah, I still kind of get down a little bit here and there." He goes, "Can you train one of my actors?" And so he started training the actor how to fight. And then somebody else looked at him and said, I like the way you look. Have you ever been to prison before? You think you could be an inmate? He goes, I'll try. Because he's been an inmate before. And that's how he landed his first film. You know, being on set, try to talk to somebody who was about to, like, I don't know if he was going to do coke or what, but
and it all fell together for him.
Exactly, man.
Yeah.
Man,
that's the way I see it too. Like I said, my whole life had to fall apart for it to fall back together. I had to lose everything I loved for me to gain, for me to find myself. You know?
Yeah. Hey, that happens. That even in the Bible, I don't know if you know, like, you know, about Job. You know, I don't want to get too preachy or nothing like that, but I mean, you ain't the only one, man. And those stories are whew, man, it's like what they had to go through and to get back where they need to be. Wow, you know, sometimes it's losing a lot of people, you know, if it's death or what, man. Like, people go through things, man, and it's either you gonna allow it to, like, break you or make you, you know, or
exactly.
And allow that to now be your part of your testimony where you can help somebody else, you know?
Exactly. And I think that's part of the reason why I start sharing is because once I started sharing, a lot of people started hitting me up and they're like, damn, like, your story touched me. Men, women, right. I mean, people who have kids that are out there in addiction, and they ask me for help. And I really tell them, like I tell them all the time, like, there's really no helping. I mean, just love them unconditionally, be there, but set boundaries, but just pray for them. You know what I mean? Because it's on their time, when it's on God's time too. And when they're done, they're done. They're done. Because for me, not prison could save me, not my kids could save me. I lost everything, and I was in and out of jail. Nothing got me clean until I was done and I was tired.
Right.
And then that's when I was ready. That's when I knew I was ready. I was just tired of everything. I was ready to cut off the world, and I did.
That's what's up.
That's
good. Where can the people follow you?
They can follow me on Purpz on IG. Then also at 10toesdown.apparel on IG as well. Then also I'm doing the eyebrow thing, IG Bras by Yvette as well.
Hey.
Yes.
That's what's up, man. Heck yeah, man. And then what's next for you? What do you have anything else planned that?
I plan on going back to school, actually. So I want to go back to school and eventually, like, since I'm doing the permanent makeup, I want to eventually start doing lips, because I see all these girls getting hooked up. So I want to start being able to provide those services, because that's money right there. Also, I just got a Frenchie and I just bred her. So I'm probably going to be starting that too. She should be having puppies in May. So hopefully I can start a little breeding game going. Man. So that as well.
Hustler, man.
Yeah. In every angle, it's crazy. I'm a little bit of everywhere, but as long as my outcome is income and I'm on the right path, we're good.
Wow, that's crazy, man. That's dope. Man, I'm proud of you. You keep pushing, man.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you for joining the podcast, man. It means a lot.
Yes, most definitely. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. I find it very sad that some of these kids, man, are being neglected, being abused. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta be involved in their life. These are your kids. This is what drives me crazy about these parents, man. I'ma tell you, they could be at their last breath because you may have caused it. But at the end, they'll still say, I love you, Mommy. You don't see that some of your kids are hurting. You can't even shine light, even if you was a curtain. But you don't want to give time of the day. You rather get plastered like your baby daddy, cause he left you like a bastard. Don't even matter, cause at this moment you feel like a victim. But you're the one neglecting, hating them cause they don't listen. But you don't listen. You know how many times people told you that you could get better, changing your habits alive. Your kids need you. You beat them, they still love you. I bet you anything, they won't put no one else above you. Ask Gabriel Fernandez, but wait, no longer living. If he was still here, he'll show you examples of what he had witnessed. This is for the babies, this is for the mamas, this is for the single daddies leaving their baby with nada. This is for the daddies, this is for the mamas. If neither one of you living this type of life, then awesome. This is for the babies, this is for the mamas, this is for the single daddies leaving their baby with nada. This is for the daddies, this is for the mamas. If neither one of you living this type of life, then awesome. I'm nobody to tell you how to raise your kids, but if I have to be their voice, that's the way it is. Look, I ain't saying you ain't got a chance, mama. Maybe you were being mistreated, don't know how to defeat it, but that's okay. Today's a day to make a change.
gonna say it now. Can't handle your kids, give them to me, I'll show you how. For the babies, this is for the mamas. This is for the single daddies leaving their baby with nada. This is for the daddies, this is for